The sacrifice never ends. With the witch goddess possessing her body, Gisella's soul remains trapped inside a bleak, endless void. Without her memories to sustain her, she spends countless days building a castle of bones, walking the abyss, and going mad. That is until one day she discovers a tapestry door that leads her to an odd yet familiar place. After nearly a year of being hunted and tortured by the witch goddess, Brahm's last threads of hope begin to fray. When he discovers a secret map stitched into the fairy tale tapestries, though, Brahm's hope of finally rescuing Gisela returns. Traveling through the other world with the help of the fairy tale characters, Gisela must remember who she is and find a way to defeat the witch goddess. All the while, Brahm, Bergot, and a crew of rebels must find the storyteller god and weave a new tale for Gisela before she is lost forever. Stories keep her alive. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I am your host, Jonathan Taylor. Today's video sees me return to Rosalind Breyer's bibliography with a look into her most anticipated book, arguably the most anticipated book I've ever reviewed for this channel, with a look at The Bone Needle. This book is the direct sequel to her debut novel, The Crown of Bones, which actually came out in 2019, and has since been pushed back a few times due to Rosalind engaging in other projects. That arguably begs the question: does this book that I've received an arc of, I had to include that somewhere. Does this book benefit or suffer due to the extra development time? Well, the TLDW for this review is, if you've read and enjoyed other books by Rosalind Breyer, I think it's pretty safe to say that you will enjoy this one as well if you decide to read it. In fact, I can basically guarantee it, because this book once again showcases just how fully defined, mapped out, and consistent Rosalind's style is. She has her own distinctive narrative language, which she knows just how to twist, just how to turn, and just how to emphasize in order to create a satisfying and engaging story. That being said, though, I do recommend that you read this book immediately after reading The Crown of Bones, because otherwise you might get a little lost in the shuffle. I know that kind of happened to me. With that out of the way, it's time I dug just a little deeper. The plot of this book takes place around a year after the ending of The Crown of Bones, and perhaps obviously so, delves into the dark timeline that could have resulted from that book's ending, with the lead character's community having been taken over by an evil goddess using Gisella's body as her vessel. From that point forward, the plot moves along two different threads, pun totally intended, which reunite in the book's latter half. The first of these narrative threads sees Brahm, having been promoted from love interest to main character, as he leads a crew of other characters on a quest aiming to find a way to defeat the goddess without killing her vessel. The second of these threads sees Gisela, or rather her soul, her consciousness, within the dark void that used to be the home of the goddess, who now uses her body as her vessel. She finds her way around this void and the other supernatural parts of this narrative's world, and eventually and eventually assists Brahm with his quest. Of these two narrative threads, I have to say that Gisela's one is somewhat more uneven. it starts out pretty strong with Gisela having lost all frame of reference about herself, uh, exploring her new surroundings, creating, reshaping them to her liking, and then slowly but surely getting to understand what it is about these surroundings that makes them distinctive, and uh, and then thereby giving herself the tools to assist to assist Brom with his quest. That being said, her narrative arc throughout this book requires that she actually delve into the uh, into that abstract world, the void, the abyss, um, where she where readers find her for the first time in this book several times, and every time she goes there, she loses her recollection of who she is. Meaning that in order for this story to actually be completed, there have to be a whole bunch of sequences that basically have the same goal of Gisela having to rediscover herself and remembering what it is that she's fighting for. I do appreciate that Rosalind did her best to vary, alter these sequences, make them to some extent distinctive, but that only works up to a point. When the by the end I at least only wish that these sequences would just be over with, that we would not have to revisit this place again, or that place again. Her action scenes, as far as her action scenes are concerned, Rosalind still can't really still doesn't write great action scenes, but I will say she has improved on this front, primarily by scaling them down from a technical standpoint, and instead focusing on what characterizes these action sequences as the characters themselves see them, allowing her focus on perspective and tension to carry the scene. In every other aspect, however, it has to be said that this book is at least as good as the rest of her bibliography, and by that I mean that the characters within this book still display a great deal of variety, synergy, depth, and development, with perhaps obviously the co-leads Giselle and Brom showcasing the most of it. The world building is also done quite well. It expands upon what has been established in the Crown of Bones, and it if not outright explores, then at least poses the question of what could happen in the very specific circumstances that the book itself, or the plot itself, highlights. And of particular note here, and something that I think really elevates this book somewhat beyond the rest of her bibliography, making it more distinctive, is how effectively she manages to integrate the themes of her work within the book's ending, more specifically in the climax, because I really think this is perhaps the most effective climax that Rosalind has ever written. There's also an epilogue to this book. Some people might not like it, but doesn't matter. It's her book. She can do whatever she wants, and Rosalind decided to also include an epilogue. It's nothing particularly groundbreaking. It's not too crazy or too far-reaching, but it does serve as an interesting conclusion to the narrative as it has been presented, and it does invite the reader to contemplate on what it is they have read, and what changes would result from that from these events moving forward. Overall, some errors, or rather small mistakes notwithstanding, the first official, fully intended as such sequel that Rosalind Breyer ever wrote definitely, I can say definitely leaves a strong positive impression with its readers. My final rating for The Bone Needle is a 4 out of 5. And that was my review. Thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed it, well then please like the video and maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the book itself or to my review of it, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My books, the first of my own Heir to the Empire series, The Next Generation and A Path Not Taken, are available at various book retailers under their respective links in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. Additionally, you have the option of supporting me on Patreon as well, where depending on the level at which you pledge, you can also receive various perks, such as early access to my videos and scripts, both for this channel and my second one. Because yes, I also have a second channel, where I talk about whatever it is that interests me within that moment. Until next time, I am Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.